course, we've been hearing from Floridians all across the state this morning, sharing what they have seen so far since Hurricane Milton made landfall. We go now to Port St. Lucie, where yesterday there was a deadly tornado outbreak. Paige Feigenbaum, who lives in the area, has more in it about what happened and what she saw. I can't imagine really what you've been going through, because these tornadoes were completely unexpected in some cases. I mean, they do happen during tornadoes, but they caught a lot of people off guard. And then for you to be in this situation, what did you hear? What did you see as those tornadoes were kind of coming into your area in Port St. Lucie?
I was watching thing unfold on television. The local news has been on my TV for at least 48 hours straight. And I was also looking on social media. Thank goodness I didn't lose cable or internet connection throughout this whole ordeal. Sometimes it flickered or I'd lose it momentarily. So that helped me keep very, very informed. And my jaw was dropping time and time again. My house personally did not get impacted by a tornado, but only a few miles away, the sheriff's station had their parking structure collapse on their vehicles. That was 6 miles from my house. And on I-95, our major highway, about 12 miles from my exit, was a major tornado, very similar to the one you're showing on the screen now, that crossed the highway. So that was definitely a bit too close for comfort for me.
And then there was that devastating news regarding the senior community, and I believe Port St. Lucie, where there were lives lost. Have you been able to hear anything about that at this point? I know you're obviously inside.
Yes, I did hear about it on the local news. It's called Spanish Lakes. I think it might be located in Fort Pierce, which is in St. Lucie County. But because a lot of this happened later in the day, I don't think they've really been able to do too much recovery and all of that quite yet, because it was nighttime.
And the sun's starting to come up, and emergency responders are now on the road. Have you been able even just to peek out the window, just to see if you can paint a picture of your immediate neighborhood and what's happening there?
I do have security cameras, and for most of the storm, I was able to check in on them throughout the day yesterday and overnight. So during the day yesterday, it was very, very rainy here. Sometimes the winds picked up, and then later in the night, maybe the middle of the night, the rain stopped, and it's just been very, very windy, very heavy gusts. I hear it clanging against the shutters all night long, and even right now.
I was about to ask you, so right now you can still hear the wind kind of like clanging against your house then?
Yeah, I definitely feel like, you know, the anticipation at Christmas, you see your presents under the tree and the gift bags and you can't open them. That's kind of like how daylight is going to be today, to be able to see what's out there.
You know, when you talk about severe weather, especially hurricanes, tornadoes, they can have an impact on pets. And I see you're holding a dog right in your arms. What's your dog's name? How is he doing? He seems to be okay.
Yes, his name is Ritz. He does have a very calm demeanor, so he has stayed nice and calm throughout this. He personally is not impacted by thunder and loud noises, but I know a lot of pets are, so he's been just fine. This storm did not bring very much thunder with it, but I could see some pets reacting to the wind because there has been a loud sound associated with it.
And I want to just clarify one thing. You're doing okay. How is your house? I mean, does your house, where you were living, does that seem to be intact for the most part?
It does. Okay. I definitely heard things hitting the shutters overnight. What those objects are, I don't know, because it was pitch black outside. Okay. I'm hoping it's nothing too major. I do have a screened-in patio, as many Florida homes do, and I just have a funny feeling maybe I lost some panels of screening, but when you look at the imagery of other people's homes and businesses, of course, that's very minor.
Did you take any hit from after Helene, during Helene?
No, nothing whatsoever. I believe that took a different direction and didn't come to my area. It had been raining heavily here in Port St. Lucie straight through from Sunday, but the last few hours it's been dry, just windy.
Well, please stay safe, and of course we wish you and your adorable dog, I think your dog's name is Ritz, the best. And thank you for taking time and joining us to describe for us. Give our viewers an image of what's happening, at least in your area in Port St. Lucie. Thank you so much, Paige.
You're very welcome.
We're now going to go to Port St. Lucie, where yesterday there was a deadly tornado outbreak. Paige Feigenbaum, who lives in the area, has more about what she's seen. Now, we had a chance to talk to you, Paige, just last hour. Have you been able to, the sun, I believe, is now coming up. Have you been able to maybe just peek out your window to see what's going on, maybe to survey what you can see from your vantage point?
It is still very, very windy here, so I don't feel safe opening the shutters yet. I do have accordion shutters. However, I have surveillance cameras outside, so I've been able to look at those. And I'm so grateful that even though the winds are very, very powerful and noisy, and I still, right now even, hear them banging against my home, maybe there's some leaves or twigs down at the very most. So other people within my own county and neighborhood certainly have more rebuilding to do and clean up than I have. So I got spared, thankfully. But those tornadoes, I was in the zone yesterday for warnings almost the entire day. I spent some of the day in my safe room, which is my laundry room, because there's no exterior walls or windows. And I've had the news on nonstop for 48 hours, if not more.
You know, just the sheer number of tornadoes was terrifying. What did you hear? You said you were in that safe room. What did you hear as all this was bearing down on your community?
Once the hurricane itself made landfall is where things got noisier and scarier for me personally, because that was in the dark. I couldn't see as well. When the tornadoes were happening, I was at least able to see a bit more, be more aware of my surroundings. And those I do find very terrifying because they're unpredictable. Hurricanes are forecasted days in advance and allow you to prepare. The tornadoes were literally dropping from the sky. As I was watching live newscasts, they had traffic cameras on the TV. And right before my very eyes, I saw one form and drop down. And some of the tornadoes were very, very close to my home. There was one 6 miles away that did damage at the St. Lucie County Sheriff's Office. It took down the structure that covers where they park vehicles. And then 12 miles south of me, I believe it was, on I-95, there was a major tornado that went viral on Facebook. Somebody got it on video.
And then, of course, we're just hearing just terrible stories about that senior living community in a tornado that apparently either touched down or very close, taking lives. But where you're living right now, the damage, how would you assess that?
I would say in my actual community, I do not see any damage. Just a few moments ago on my camera, I did see that there was a neighbor outside, despite it raining now and still heavy winds, walking her dog. Really? I wouldn't feel safe going outside. I was quite surprised to see that. But just the imagery I'm seeing on television, I did hear just a few minutes ago that the St. Lucie County medical examiner announced there are 4 confirmed deaths in the county. I don't know if they are all from that senior living community. I'm not positive, but I do think that that community might be manufactured homes or mobile homes. So of course, those are not as stable of structures. But that being said, south of me in western Palm Beach County, in a community called Wellington, has very, very elite homes, I would say, from what I saw on television. And they faced a lot of destruction as well from tornadoes.
And Paige, what is this I hear you were going to work today?
Yes, I work remotely, and since I still have power and internet connectivity, there's no reason not to work. Work is also a great distraction if you're able to do so, and since I don't actually have to go outside and do cleanup, and it wouldn't even be safe to do so since I still have 45-mile-per-hour winds, so cleanup will come maybe tomorrow. They are expecting late afternoon, early evening at my house for conditions to calm down, but I'm still hunkering down inside for quite a few hours.
And thank you so much for being our eyes on the ground there, Paige, in Port St. Lucie.
Oh, you're very welcome.